what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of VPN Chat. Yes, it's a minute since I've done one of these. So, of course, I had to make it special and make it live. That's right. So this is VPN Chat Live. This is the very first one that we've ever done live. Please bear with me. It's been a minute. I'm using StreamYard to stream on Facebook, YouTube, and X. So y'all bear with me. I'm trying to make everything work. It just showed me a premium account X required to create live broadcasts on that platform. So we will not be going live on X. So we on Facebook and YouTube. Let me go ahead and remove that. So that way that's not an issue. All right, cool. So yeah, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So thank y'all again for those who are tuning in. And I hope if you're gonna watch this after we go, later, because we're gonna record it and have it posted for you after the live is done as well. Without further ado, I wanted to bring a special guest on because the show we're gonna talk about, the shows we're gonna talk about, one of them is actually his favorite of the VPN series, and I thought he would definitely be perfect to talk about Brotherhood and Sisterhood with. And we have designated him as Victory Productions Master Commentator. So I'm going to present to you, for some who don't know, introduce to some, and present to others, Mr. LJ. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Thank you for asking.
No problem. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for, first of all, thank you for all of the love and support that you show Victory Productions over the years. We definitely appreciate it. And so, again, I thought it would be perfect, again, talking about Brotherhood and Sisterhood, I thought it would be perfect to have you here. So thank you again for being here.
Well, it's an honor to be here, and thank you for having me here. And I do love all of VPN Productions.
Well, before we get started, jumping to the topic at hand, I want to ask you, how did you come across our Victory Productions content? How did you come across it? And what was your first show that you came across?
It was Karma. And the scene that got me was Mr. Courtney Gray. He was in the church crying. And that right there pulled me in because I haven't seen a lot of emotions that come from a man, in the specifics, a Black man. And I was just so interested to see that. And it really hooked me in right away. So I started with Karma. I think the next show, Lover's Lane. Is it Blindside? Was that the fighting show? Colorblind. Sorry about that. I did that, and then the rest is history because I just loved everything that you did bring forward because of what you bring as far as with characters, and everything wasn't stereotypical, or it could be similar stories, but there's always a twist to your stories and bringing actually humanity to a lot of these characters and stories.
Well, like I said, man, definitely appreciate you becoming on board. The one thing, like I said, I enjoy when people dissect our content. Like I said, I actually enjoy it, and coming from from a good place. As far as like I like I said, I don't have a problem obviously with constructive criticism, but I enjoy when people actually study what they're watching and like actually break stuff down, actually, give their theories of what they think is gonna happen. And like I said, what the thing that stood out to me for you was like LJ would write these like very long paragraphs. Like I'm talking like essay questions. And so, but I honestly appreciate that because again, it showed that you really cared about what you were watching and you really took the time to really break down what was your thoughts on the content that we were putting out there. So I definitely appreciate that. And that's how you got the name Master Commentator, because you definitely was like, you was giving us everything.
One thing, if I could say this, I love things or whatever subject matters that make me think. And a lot of your shows made me think because there was a lot of controversial stuff that you come up with. And if I'm thinking about a show days afterwards, 3, 4, 5 days afterwards, it's all good to me. So that's how you can really get a lot of those long paragraphs that I was given as far as commentary.
Well, like I said, we definitely appreciate it. Now, hold on, before I continue, I want y'all to know I'm not being rude. I am listening to LJ. I'm checking my phone because I'm still trying. Okay, so here's the thing. With this, you guys can actually comment. I actually want you guys to please comment. We have a live comment thing going on here on the side. In a minute, StreamYard. So you guys can send in comments, send in questions. I really want y'all to please engage with us if you're watching. And I really, of course, we'll pull them up. We'll read them, answer them if we can. But I'm checking my phone too because I'm going back and forth on Facebook and making sure that it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. And the same thing with YouTube, I'm making sure that it's doing what it's supposed to. So I want people to think that I'm not listening to LJ. You being rude to your guests. I'm not being rude. I am definitely listening, but I'm multitasking. So, but you know how people are. You know how people are.
Yeah,
they try to find every little thing, and they want to try to say something. So, you know, So just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Cool. Okay, I got YouTube pulled up and then the live and then whatever. So hopefully, again, how StreamYard set up, the comments, if people send comments or questions, they should pop up here and I should be able to see it and all that stuff. Okay, let's get started. So we are talking about brotherhood and sisterhood, and I have to agree. You have told me, you said several times that Brotherhood is your favorite VPN show, and I have to agree with you. Actually, Brotherhood is actually my favorite VPN show, and I want to say it's not a slight to any of the actors in the other series, not at all. I 1,000% appreciate every single actor that's been a part of every single show of Victory Productions. The reason why Brotherhood is and I'll let you I'll ask you why it's yours, but the reason why Brotherhood is my favorite is because I honestly had the chance to really create something where I see a true reflection of who I am as a Black man, right? Because a lot of times we don't really see that in our shows or what have you, or movies or what have you. And I wanted to do something where you saw these men, these different men, different walks of life, but the one thing they had in common was trying to figure out how to deal with the emotions that we deal with as men. Because as growing up, you know, it was frowned upon to show your emotions. It made you, you know, you're soft, you're weak. You know, you're supposed to be a man, handle it like a man, deal with your stuff like a man, stuff like that toxic masculinity. And for me, I wanted to show these men in these different situations that they have going on, but show how they deal with what's going on internally. And like really show that to our audience. And I'm hoping, and you know, even, you know, some of the storylines, of course, will, you know, especially that Pastor Miller, it was a little crazy. But overall, in the heart of it all, I really want to show men in this emotional light and let people know, and let especially men know that it's okay to deal with your emotions and deal with what's going on the inside. So that's why to me Brotherhood is my favorite, because again, I had the opportunity to create these characters and tell these stories, and all the actors are great, the men and the women, but specifically for the men, these men really tapped in. Especially after the last season, like they really tapped in and left everything out, left everything on the screen, like for real. So that's why Brotherhood is my favorite. Because again, I really had the pleasure of telling these stories and creating these characters. So, what's your reasoning why Rise Brotherhood is your favorite VPN show?
Oh, okay, so similar to you, one is we don't get to see a lot of representation of a man showing any other emotion than anger, and even within the arts, it's always stereotypical type of characters for Black men. You are either going to be the sidekick, you're going to be the villain, which is usually the gangster drug dealer, or possibly a lawyer. But there's nothing that's been out there really to express male emotions, males' frustration, instead of, like you said, just sucking it up like a man, whatever that's supposed to mean. And I don't know. And I'm glad I'm past that point in my life as far as not being able to express my emotions. I think that I can see myself in a lot of the situations or how the men were feeling when certain conditions and certain parts of the storyline would come up. And I think it was a beautiful display of letting men feel what they needed to feel, get out what they need to get out or express. So that's why I really connect to it. I also, with some of the storylines, I also connect because it's very similar to some of the stuff that I've been through. So,
Got you. All right, so it's time to discuss again, LJ. Honestly, the floor is it's really about you because I feel like you have some questions that you do ask me, and so we're gonna just walk through the series, and feel free to be like, hey, I got a question or whatever, and I'm gonna do the best I can to answer it. So we start off Brotherhood, and again we're walking through it. Also, I gave you guys, if you follow me on social media, I gave you guys a viewing guide too. As Sisterhood 2 comes out, we're recording this right now on a Tuesday. It comes out next Tuesday. Sisterhood 2, Calling All Lovers. So I gave y'all a guide so that way you can follow along what's going on. Now, technically, you could just watch Sisterhood 1 and you'll be fine, and watch Sisterhood 2. But there are some things in Sisterhood 2 that refer to things that happen in the final season of Brotherhood. So I'm like, you gotta watch. So because it's gonna be it's a scene in particular that happens because we already know that I already revealed that Alex is gonna be on Sisterhood 2. So his character is from Brotherhood. So there's a thing that happens. Actually, there are two things that happen that refer to Brotherhood, and so it's like you gotta watch, especially the last season of Brotherhood, to really understand what they're referring to, so you won't be lost. So I created this guide. I said you need to watch Brotherhood seasons 1 through 3 first. Season 1 is on Tubi. Season 2 and 3 are on Vimeo on demand. We are working to get them on Tubi. It's the whole thing. So for right now, it's on Vimeo on demand. So seasons 1 through 3, watch that first. Then Sisterhood. Then watch Brotherhood, the final season, season 4. And then you'll be ready for Sisterhood season 2. Again, technically too, you could just watch, because also the reason why season 3 is important if you haven't seen Sisterhood yet is because Jordan Dixon is introduced in season 3.
Sure.
So technically you could watch Brotherhood season 3, Sisterhood, Brotherhood season 4, then Sisterhood 2 if you want to. But I feel like if you do that, you're gonna have questions, and I'm like, oh, you should have watched Brotherhood season 1 and season 2. So to eliminate the questions, just go ahead and watch Brotherhood season 1 through 3, then go to Sisterhood and Brotherhood season 4. You'll be ready for Sisterhood season 2. All right, so here we go. So we start off Brotherhood. We are introduced to Benji, and Benji is preparing for his father to pass away. His father has cancer. His father is going through his last days. He decided not to do chemotherapy. And So Benji is preparing to lose his father. Benji has already lost his mom. His older brother Darius has also passed away. So now he's getting ready to lose another prominent family member. Okay. So then we meet Miles. Miles is Miles is, we start with him. He's in the bed with his girlfriend. There's a knock at the door. It's his the mother of his 2 children, Angie and Mikey. So she comes at the door, and then when his girlfriend comes to the door, it's revealed that she's pregnant. So he has another child on the way. So that's that situation. Okay, so then next we have Quincy. Quincy is preparing to present his wife with an anniversary gift, but she drops a bombshell on him and says, "I want a divorce, and you gotta get out the house." Because they haven't been on the same page in a while, and so you gotta go. All right. Then we have Craig, who is a college student. His dad calls him, who is Pastor Jonathan Miller, and asks, you should be going to school, And of course, Craig ain't really doing what he's supposed to be doing. His girlfriend's in the bed. She reveals that she is late. Come to find out that she's pregnant. She says pregnant. All right. Then we meet Walter, which is Quincy's brother. Walter has 3 children. Walter is a widower. Yeah, he's a widower. Yeah. His wife passed, so he's a single father taking care of 3 kids by himself. Quincy shows up at the door and reveals that they're brothers, and so Quincy is now going to be staying with Walter. So then we get to episode 1, and Benji is sitting by his father's bedside. A stranger comes to the door, introduces his name he's Alex Bell. It's revealed that Alex is the long lost brother of Benji. So there it is. So now you guys know these are the main characters here on season 1, and so we continue on. So we find that the father had an affair. He cheated on Benji's and Darius's mother. So it's Darius, Alex, Benji. So that's the order of the siblings. So of course, Benji's not receptive of Alex at all. He's really upset. It even gets to the point where he curses his father and says F all stuff. And so we're dealing with that. So that's what's going on with that. So now we're going to go to Alex. Alex and Quincy served in the military together. They were in the same unit. Alex has been staying with Quincy, and come to find out that Tamika, which is Quincy's wife, Tamika and Alex have been hooking up. So it reveals that as well.
I'm still upset today. Sorry.
Yeah, you feel a certain way about that whole situation.
Yeah. So, I mean, look. Well, season 2 reveals or was it season 3? I think it was season 2 reveals exactly how everything went down. Yeah. Alex, that wasn't his place to step in there. And then they had sex in their bed. Now that was the thing I thought was just like, I know I'm jumping ahead. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
Yeah, but it's just, you was just staying in his house, chilling and eating his food, rent, water. Well, maybe it's Tamika's, since she was acting like she was the breadwinner and all that. So I don't know who was really providing everything, but she did kick him out of the house. So
it is. So it's also revealed that the house, they had a prenup, so the house belonged to Tamika because she had it before they got married. So that's why Q was, got kicked out of the house. So then so that's going on. Walter actually goes over there to talk to me. He actually sees Alex and Tamika kissing from the window. So now see, Quincy doesn't know that Alex and Tamika, Alex and Tamika are together. But Walter knows. So Walter has that in the back of his head. Craig ends up. Do I want to go to Craig next? No. Let's go to Miles. Miles. So the two baby moms, because Miles didn't have to go to work, and so Nikita, which is the pregnant one, and I can't remember the name of Kenyatta's character, and I literally just watched this.
Did I write it down?
What is her name? I don't know.
I was just looking at the name. Oh, I didn't write that one down. My bad.
No, you're fine. No, it's not your fault. I should know this. I should definitely know this. I'm looking up on DB now. Anyway, have a conversation, and basically Kenyatta's character was like, he's never gonna make you a wife, So Nikita questions Miles, like, when you gonna make me a wife? And he's like, well, when we start acting like one, they get to it. So she starts having some labor pain, some issues or whatever. So sadly, they lose the baby. So and after that, it's revealed that Benji's girlfriend, Gabby and Miles are brother and sister. We found that out on episode 4. So I'm on the page now. I'm gonna find this name because I have a story to tell and why this is important. Katrina.
Okay.
So we got that done. All right. So Craig and Tiana, they go to the Mills house. Craig tells the parents that Tiana's pregnant with his baby. They seem receptive at first, but then, of course, Pastor Miller reveals how low down he is beginning to be. He offers Tiana a blank check to leave Craig and never come back. You take your pregnant self and be gone. So then we get to the end, and we're in the end of season 1. Walt was trying to tell Quincy what he was going to tell Quincy what he saw, but then it is revealed that a doctor called and said he needs to come in and get tested for HIV.
That was
yes.
Yes.
And I honestly was hesitant about going that route with the story. But I was like, nah, we need to get into it. Because I didn't want it to be the stereotypical story. You know what I'm saying? So I like a lot of shows they do that. But I was like, I had a plan when it came to that, and again, I'll get into it when we get to season 2. So in the end, sadly, the dad Benji and Alex's dad dies, but Benji did not make it in time, and he's dead before Benji gets to his bedside. So that's how season 1 ends. We get into season 2. Hold on, before we do that, do you have anything you want to say?
Just right off the top of my head, I'm glad you kept in the HIV. After when we hear by season 2, it's like, yeah, let's do that in a way. But go ahead, continue. But I think season 1 was just a setup for everything, and
yes.
Pastor Jonathan, he was quite mild. Season 1, we weren't prepared.
Let's get into that. So I'm gonna say this. So when I first wrote Brotherhood, right? So honestly, I intended for Brotherhood just to be a limited show. Like I was gonna just do like 6 episodes and that would be it. I wanted to do this because I enjoyed watching Courtney and Donna work together in Karma, and I wanted them to do something else together. But I wanted to make them brother because in Karma they played cousins, and so in this I was like, I want them to play brother. They have amazing chemistry together, and I was like, I really want to continue to keep that going. Kelvin, who played Miles, he talked because he played Cobalt and Colorblind. He said he told me that he wanted to play a character because he was saying he was always getting the roles of playing like the villain, the bad guy, He wanted to play something. I said, cool, I got you. I got this show I'm doing called Brotherhood. It's gonna be completely different. Now, people might view you as a bad guy because of things that Miles does, but as far as you like being the villain, you're not the villain. Like you're not doing evil things on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like in Colorblind, Cobalt was just doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
But in Brotherhood, Miles made some personal decisions that ricocheted into stuff that impacted a lot of people's lives. And again, that people can view him as, depending on your viewpoint, you can view him as a bad person. Just depending on your viewpoint. But he's not in the story. He's not the villain. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, I want you to play this part. Now with Pastor Miller was I originally did not. I don't think I had Reggie playing Pastor Miller at first. I think I had somebody else. I can't remember exactly. But then I ended up Reggie to play the part, and I was like, okay, we're gonna just keep him kind of even kill, like this kind of like just not too crazy.
Right.
I don't know, I think something just snapped in me, and I said, nah. I said, we're gonna. I know the range that Reggie can give, and I was like, nah, we're gonna take it up. We're gonna go up. We're gonna go as up as we can. So that's some behind the scenes stuff for that. So jumping into season 2, we are the day of Benji and Alex's funeral, and Benji's obviously having a hard time with it because, again, the last words that he said to his dad was "F you."
Yeah.
And that's definitely a hard pill to swallow, with that being the last words you say to somebody that, and you can't like go back and rectify that situation because they're no longer here.
Right.
The only thing you really do is rectify it within yourself. Even then, it's still, that's going to be lingering in the back of your mind. Like, dang, that's really the last thing I said to my dad was
exactly.
So he's dealing with that. So everybody pretty much is, for the part, getting ready for the funeral. Benji ends up not coming, so he ends up not going to the funeral. Miles, as he's getting ready for the funeral, Nikita's trying another baby with him because she just lost the baby, and he's like, "No, we don't need to do that." So she's upset about that. What else happened in the beginning of season 2? Quincy is trying to remember. Oh, hold on, I'm sorry, I skipped. So season 2 actually starts off picking up from where season 1 left off with Quincy and Alex and Tamika. Quincy shows up and confronts Tamika, and physically assaults her, which is wrong, obviously. And in anger, he chokes her because he's like, "Did you give me HIV?" All this other. And so Alex comes in, storms, and comes to her rescue. Quincy finds out that Alex and Tamika have been together, so Quincy punches Alex, leaves. So that's how season 2 actually starts. Then we fast forward a week later, and then we go to the funeral. Okay, so Quincy is trying to he's obviously blocked some stuff out of his head, and so some stuff is coming back to his remembrance. So find out Quincy was in a strip club, wilding. He ends up hooking up with a stripper, and he's like starting to put 2 and 2 together. Like, maybe he may be the reason why that him and his wife have HIV. Well, he doesn't know he has it yet, but why why he's been called in to get tested for HIV. So then Miles, we find out that Miles has an older son.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so we find out that Miles has an older son, The mother of his child, her name is Kendra, and the child's name is Miles Keller Jr., aka Dub. So Kendra says, "I'm done. I'm tired of raising him by myself. It's your turn," and leaves him with his daddy. And Nikita is looking like, "Who is this?" And Nikita really realizes that what situation she's in with Miles. Like Miles has all these kids, and it's like she's trying to figure out, okay, do I want to live my life like this? Her friend is telling her, "Girl, you need to leave, you need to get out." And she's just trying to figure out, like, what do I want to keep doing this? And also we meet another new character too. We meet Jax, which is Craig's cousin. And we find out that Jax is sleeping with their professor. I'm gonna say this. I remember when I believe when the first episode came out, and people were like really rooting for Jax because
oh wow,
he messed around with the professor.
Wow.
It was like, okay, they're like, people was like, well, the guys are like,
yeah. Wow.
That was funny to me. What else? I'm trying to like, I don't want to like break down every single thing. I'm trying to like just kind of the story along.
Pastor Jackson was running for office.
Pastor Miller. We haven't gotten there yet. But yeah, Pastor Miller. So Craig. So Tiana does tell Craig that Pastor Miller offered her a blank check to go away. Craig ends up confronting Pastor Miller. Now this is when we see Pastor Miller starting to get
Gravel.
Not really all there in the brain.
Unhinged.
Go ahead.
Unhinged or unraveled.
Yeah. So when Craig comes in and says, "Stay the F out my life," Pastor Miller's like, "Oh, you're not talking to me like that," and chokes him and like literally about to choke him to death. And the mama is at the point like, "Please get off of him, let him go, whatever." He ends up letting him go, whatever. You see that Pastor Miller's obviously been abusive to Craig. That's apparent. What else? So Walter, he has an associate that's flirting with him. Because again, keep in mind, Walter has not been interviewed with anybody since his wife's death. So he has a flirting with him. His other coworkers like, "Yo, you need to go ahead and get with that because he's trying to get with you." And that's just been pretty much his whole storyline for season 2. And so back to Benji. Benji, again, he's still trying to deal with his father's death. We also, in flashbacks, we meet Darius, which is Benji's older brother, played by Nelson J. Davis. When I wrote that part, I immediately said I wanted Nelson to play that part. Because, again, I really wanted to see Nelson and Courtney together. Working together on camera. And that chemistry was amazing as well. So as soon as I think I told Nelson, I said, "Hey, I'm writing this part for Brotherhood. I really want you to play this part. You'll be playing Courtney's older brother, Darius, who died. Actually see what led up to his death." And he was down. It was amazing. It was just amazing to see those two together on camera, for sure.
Most of it.
Yeah. So we see Darius through flashbacks as far as what happened. Darius obviously Benji mentioned it in season 1 that Darius died of a drug overdose. So we know that Darius has a drug and he's an addict. And so we see that all throughout season 2 through the flashbacks of what's going on and how that influences Benji. Darius actually made Benji do a line. So, they was having fun with the ladies, and then Benji was like, Darius was like, "Come on, do this line," and he ended up influencing his little brother to do drugs with him. We also revealed too that it's the whole family, all the brothers because Alex revealed in the flashback Alex also had issues with drugs as well. Alex shot up needles because he has PTSD from things he dealt with in the overseas in war. Dealing with that, he uses that to quiet the noise. And actually, Tamika actually throws that dagger at him, saying, "You probably the reason why I got HIV. Not using all the needles. You thought those needles, you probably got the disease and da 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 da." So they get into it, and then Tamika kicks him out after she slaps him, and then kicks him out the house.
Mm-hmm.
So, after Shatari starts with those heavy hands.
I heard about the hands before.
Yeah, listen. When I tell you she can slap, she can slap. And I know, I know from experience because she slapped me. So,
was it on lines then? Because I know you two characters were together for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know what? Did she slap me on lines? No, I don't think she slapped me on lines. We did a live, like a live presentation. She slapped me in.
Okay.
Yeah, she slapped me then, and that hurt. So yes, I it's funny because I write her characters not thinking that she has to actually slap these men. So I was like, I'm sorry.
Y'all get some insurance actors. No.
Right. But no, shout out to sorry those. But yeah. So Tamika kicks him out the house. And so now he's in a motel. He's, so that's that. Miles is dealing with Dub. Dub is very funny. Dub is very very mischievous. Like he's really acting out a lot because again, and it will be revealed later in the later seasons what's really going on with Dub. But him and his father, like that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So and then Nikita again, she does leave Miles. She breaks up with him. She moves out. So she's like, I don't want to be a part. I'm not trying to deal with this because it's also revealed that Miles has another child that lives in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't see. So, so Miles got a lot of kids. Miles been shooting the club up.
Yeah,
different clubs. So,
yeah. Of the nations, what is it? I forgot the name. Whatever the nations is, whatever. He's shooting up the nations, but.
So yeah. What else? It's so much. And I will say this, I really enjoy excuse me. I enjoyed my marathon. It took 2 days to watch everything in order. And I enjoyed, I was telling Donald this. What I enjoyed was watching the growth, just the growth overall of the evolution of how it looks, because it definitely improved over the years. Just the acting, I like just the evolution of the stories, the way like you can tell the difference between season 1 and season 4.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
big difference. Vast, and like I said, in season 4, like everybody tapped. Like, not saying people didn't tap in before, but like everybody like really tapped in. Like, y'all about to really, with this the end, then we're gonna end right. So yeah, I just enjoyed just the evolution of it. Even with Sisterhood, like I said, just because I end up watching Sisterhood too. Y'all see it next Tuesday, but I watched it again myself, me and my sister, and just the evolution, even from Sisterhood 1 to Sisterhood 2, like it's like vast.
Okay.
So
okay,
but yeah. So back to Brotherhood season 2. What else? Okay, so yeah, so now with so Craig makes a decision to drop out of school because he feels like he needs to go ahead and get a job do what he needs to do to prepare for the baby coming and everything. Pastor Miller is he's having an affair with his secretary, Charlene. That's important.
Jezebel. He called her Jezebel. I said, Lord. he was in that office, but he was getting it in. Let's just say that.
Yeah, he definitely was getting it in. So he's having an affair with his Charlene. We meet his frat brother, Lionel Claiborne. Lionel has an opportunity to run for governor, and he's asked Jonathan to be on the ticket and run for lieutenant governor with him. So be on the same ticket with him. So there's that opportunity. All right. We found out though that the professor that Jackson's sleeping with is actually the wife of Lionel Claiborne. Now, when they all at the house, so Pastor Miller's about this whole announcement thing, and they all come to the house, and it comes to find out that she is Lionel's wife. And so, of course, Jax and Craig are like, oh, snap. Oh, there's that. Let's see. I'm saving the end because we got to talk about JT, but I want to save that. What else is going on, LJ?
Of course. Well, you got two things. Because I know you want to talk about JT, but we would have to talk about Tamika too, as to what happens with her.
Yes. So, so before we do that though, and you were referring to how her and Alex. So we do have an episode called. We have a whole flashback episode, recalling when Alex got the call about his dad. Actually, his dad called him for the first time, wanted to meet him. We see that Alex coming to stay with Quincy. Tamika has an issue with it because Quincy didn't run about Tamika. Of course, Tamika and Quincy are arguing, even accusing him of cheating. It's a lot going on. Quincy is definitely wilding. He's just out there, but that's how he's at that. So Alex is coping with he was using drugs for his silencing the noise or quieting the noise. Quincy was using sex and women and alcohol, and he was out there doing his thing. He was also dealing with PTSD as well. It wasn't heavily discussed, but he was dealing with the same thing as well. They were all dealing with it in their own different way. So Alex is confident Tamika, I wouldn't, I wouldn't, how people do. If it was mine, I wouldn't treat you like that, And so, of course, Tamika wants to be loved, and it happens. Yeah. Like I said, they have their first time in Tamika and Quincy's bed. So,
first, if I could say this, this is my favorite episode of season 2. I love it. I love the writing. I love everything about it. Even though I got some issues, but yeah, I think couldn't they have gone to his room and did it? Because I'm like, dang, right there. I mean, I know Q was very disrespectful to Tamika. Look, he was. But it's like, oh, that just, go over there and do that.
I mean, their bed is bigger and they have more space.
Well, you can quiet the noise in tight spaces too. And then he slips out right before Quincy comes up to the bedroom. Yes, sir. He does. Sir. Ooh. And then you don't say a word. Hey, y'all just go on about life like everything's good. But we find out after that night, all of a sudden Quincy gets served those divorce papers. I said, oh, so you got that good loving, and then you decided to divorce him. I see.
That's the catalyst she needed to be like, all right, I'm out.
Right. She was gonna stay there. She was. Thank you, Alex.
Okay, so yeah, so we have that channel. Let's do it before we do the end of Tamika. There's a basketball game. I'm sorry, let's do this. There's a basketball game. The fellas get together, have a basketball game, and it's BG Miles, Quincy Walter, and then Alex shows up, and Quincy's ready to beat his behind. But of course, they get him out of there. At the house, it is revealed that now Walter finally reveals to Quincy that he knew about Alex and Tamika hooking up. He would say, I was going to tell you, but then you said the thing about you get tested for HIV, but Quincy ain't trying to hear it. Quincy he feels betrayed. They get into it, and then Quincy ends up leaving the house, leaving Walter's house. So he's going somewhere, wherever he's gonna go, because he can't go back to Tamika's house. So I guess he's gonna go to a hotel room. So both Alex and Quincy end up getting tested, and we found out that Quincy has HIV. It has been confirmed that he does have HIV. With that, I want to say this, so some behind the scene nuggets. I did not want this to be their typical story. I actually did some research. I actually reached out to people who knew somebody that HIV, was diagnosed with HIV. Actually talked to somebody that actually does have HIV. I just wanted to see, I wanted to get inside of how they dealt with it, or how they're dealing with it, as far as specifically somebody that had a family member with it, how they dealt with it. But especially if somebody that does have it, what do you do? What that moment when you find out that you've been diagnosed with it, what do you do? How do you feel? How do you feel? You just, yeah, I just really wanted to know so I can incorporate that into this storyline and really tell the story right. I wanted to do it right, and not offend anybody, and not take it lightly. Because again, that's really the thing to do, to realize, okay, you got somebody that's sleeping around a whole bunch of times. We want to just give them HIV, and I really wanted to be delicate with it, So yeah, so if I said I was going to do it, I want to make sure that I do my research. I can talk to some people and make sure I tell this story correctly. So,
yeah. And as I was saying before, I did like that twist as far as the HIV story. It was told in a different way too. I mean, it was still through sex and all that, as how Quincy contracted it. Also, even what happens, even with Tamika, I was like, wow. But that stuff happens. And I think you dealt with it in a more realistic way. And if people thought it was stereotypical, I mean, there was more to it, as far as I can see why she would do it. She didn't get all the news yet as to where she got it from and who gave it to her, So she went off impulse.
Before we do that, before we go to that part, I'm gonna go back to Pastor Milk and JT real quick. So we meet JT because Tiana's throwing up at school. A man walks up and tries to give her some water, and he asks about Craig. She gets on the phone with Craig because Craig says you can come to the house because Dad has an announcement, and so the man ends up disappearing. We get to the house. JT actually comes to the door. Oh, before we do that, the mama was on the phone with somebody, And Pastor Miller was like, I know you're not talking. You better not be talking who I think you're talking to. So we don't know at the beginning yet who the mom was talking to, but then we figure it out when JT shows up, he's talking to JT. So JT is their older son, Craig's older brother. He's been banished from the house, basically kicked out the family. His dad calls him an abomination. And this is one of the wildest scenes of Brotherhood ever. So Pastor Miller spits after calling him abomination, and Jason's like, you may have something out along the line. Basically, you may have got rid of me, but you'll never get rid of me. Basically saying, I'm all be here. You're never gonna get rid of me. Pastor Miller spits in JT's face. Like just spits. And have to give a shout out to Brandon Fields, who played JT during that time. He just took it. And even though I wrote it, I still was kind of like, damn, we really did that. It just really happened. I couldn't believe it as I was filming it. I was like, dang, I will say this. Water was offered.
So it was real.
So it was a mixture. It was a mixture.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because that was one of my questions. Because I wondered, was that real?
So the take on Brandon on JT was the mixture. The shot with Reggie, that was his spit. Because you see the slob coming out of his mouth. That was Reggie's spit. So and so of course it was cut to where, but still spit was still involved on both takes, regardless, And Brandon, we was like, but Brandon's like, no, it's fine, it's good, it's fine, and he wiped his face and we just kept it moving. So like I said, Brandon's definitely a champ. But I'm gonna say, I did say we were going to just do water, but
yeah. Wow. Oh. Now that's the MVP, for real.
No, Brandon definitely was the champ for sure. But that's the wildest scene ever in Brotherhood history, for sure. So it comes to find out that JT is gay. That's the reason why he was kicked out of the house. He is dating a Caucasian male by the name of Richie. We find that out as they are watching the announcement of Lionel and Jonathan registering to run for office. They're watching the news. So we find out that JT's gay and that he's dating Richie. So now we're at the end of season 2. Now basically at the end, again, Alex. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh, no. Benji, gotta talk about Benji. Benji has a bag of he the funeral. Recently he went to the funeral, he met up with somebody, he got a bag of cocaine. He hasn't yet, but he's got a bag of cocaine. Gabby, while he's at the basketball game, Gabby was going through cleaning up or whatever. She comes across this ring, and Benji has to cover up real quick, and he proposes to Gabby. And it's very impulsive because again he's trying to cover up. And so then when Benji is away, we find the bag of cocaine in Benji's pants, and so then it's revealed that Miles and Gabby's father was also on drugs, and that's the reason why the mama and daddy are dead, because he was driving while he was high.
Mm-hmm.
This causes the issue for Gabby, of course, because she's like, I cannot be with you if you're going to be doing drugs. And so Benji ends up choosing the drugs over Gabby. Gabby gives the ring back, and she breaks up with him and leaves. And so we find out, too, also in the flashback with Darius, we actually see, we see the drug overdose, and Benji was the one that found Darius lying unconscious, dead on the floor. Brilliant is the only word I have for the scene. It's one of my favorite scenes with Nelson and Courtney. First of all, Nelson is the MVP for holding his breath that long. And Courtney, just with his ability to tap into his emotions on cue, like, again, it's dynamic. That was one of the most brilliant scenes. People are still talking about to this day.
Yeah.
The entire series.
Yeah. Because I think, if I remember correctly, before the actual death scene, even though he did Darius introduced Benji to drugs, I guess he was still trying to, Benji was trying to still do drugs, and Darius was trying to stop him from doing it, even though he was still doing it himself. I remember that. So I kind of took it two ways as to why Benji wanted to stay with the drugs. I think some people want to connect with someone in the way that someone dies, or probably want to die the same way. But also he's trying to block out the noise in his own way with the drugs. So in some type of way, he may have still felt connected or tried to feel a connection to Darius, even by using the drugs, because that was the only time that he could really bond with him or really let loose. So that I was seeing those type of dynamics that were going on with Benji.
Very good. I think that's a very good analysis. Very good analysis, for sure. So at the end with Benji, and we see Darius' spirit show up and say, "Don't do this, bro. Please don't do this. Don't end it. I want to end like me." Da da da. But Benji gives in and he takes the line, and then Darius' spirit disappears, and so now this is the role where Benji is. Now he's there.
Yeah.
Now we're finally to the end, where Alex comes home to not come home. He goes to Tamika's house. He wants to talk to her, and then sadly, he finds her lying unresponsive on the floor. And Tamika has passed away. Now I'm about to give y'all some behind the scenes tea. Your face. So we actually shot a scene where Tamika got revived.
Oh.
We actually shot that because I was undecided if Tamika was going to actually live or die. I wasn't sure. Well, I'll do for season 3. So we actually shot that. And Shatara reminds me of this every time because, of course, she got her hair wet. So I actually had Donald and Shatara get in the tub, and he was pouring water on her face and trying to revive her and stuff. And she actually, came back. Like she wasn't dead. She was just, out of it or whatever. Whatever happens. So and she reminds me. I said, "I got my hair wet for you." And So yeah, I was I didn't know what I wanted to do. So again, things I always if I have an inkling of, like, if I do a show and I'm like if I do a cliffhanger and I'm undecided about where I want to go, I always shoot stuff in advance. So a lot of times with a lot of my shows, I go ahead and shoot like a scene or two, go ahead and shoot it. So that way I'll have it in the chamber. Because of course we all look different, later on. So, like let's say we didn't shoot this for another year, they're not gonna look like that in another year. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me go ahead and just shoot, so I'll have it. So that way, if I do decide, okay, Tamika's gonna stay alive, I can always flash back to that show what happened. So I was I didn't know what I wanted to do as far as keeping her alive. So with that being said, when we got ready to do season 3, I already said I want to do Sisterhood. I was like, I want to spin off. I want to do Sisterhood, and I wanted Shatari to be a part of it. I was trying to decide if I wanted her to be Tamika. Originally, Shataria was casted to play Layla Michelle.
Whoa!
Originally,
okay.
Yes, that's some other behind the scenes stuff. So she was originally casted to play Layla Michelle, and Keisha Rose originally was supposed to be going to play Dawn. Keisha Rose lives in Chicago, and so in Sisterhood, basically all of Dawn's scenes are isolated. It's just Dawn and Rico. So, and Layla Michelle acts with everybody else. So it was easier. I think with Shay, there's something was going on with her scheduling as well, and so it was easier to have Shay just play Dawn, so that she could still do it and be a part of it. And to have we had to schedule Keisha Rose for later, and we shot her scenes later with Layla Michelle. So they actually ended up swapping. So there you go. There's that too.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but I already decided I want to do Sisterhood, and so I was okay. If I think it would have been different. So if I could have just said, I didn't really have to necessarily do an explanation of Dawn. I did do one. I didn't do an explanation, but anyway, I said that okay, if Shay's gonna be on Sisterhood, that means I have to kill off Tamika because it's a spinoff. It's in the same. It's in the same verse, same world. I didn't want it to be like Dawn is a twin sister of Tamika. I didn't want to do. I wasn't doing that. Or their cousins or whatever. I wasn't doing that. So I was like, and Shatari was upset with me a little bit, like not for real upset, but like she's like, why are you killing off Tamika? I can just be on both shows. I said, no, ma'am, it's a spinoff. You cannot be on both shows. You have to, because if you want to be on Sisterhood, we gotta get rid of Tamika. But to me, it was a great driving force because it pushed Quincy's character. It pushed Carlos's character, Quincy. We introduced Tamika's brother, played by I think his character's name is Marcus. I think his character's name is Marcus. Played by Frederick Devon. Yep, Marcus. So it moved the story. Killing her character off moved the story. I feel like keeping her alive would have kept that triangle, and I wasn't really trying to do that triangle for a long time. I was like, all right, it's done. Let's move on. Let's move forward. So yeah, so there you go. There's some behind the scenes stuff here.
Thank you, because I'm trying to now envision if she would have stayed alive, but I'm glad she did though. For real, as I was saying before, people do react if they get a health diagnosis. They will react or out of impulse, and they will unalive themselves or try to unalive themselves. And I think it needed to be told. I think it needed to be seen. And as you said, it let Alex and Quincy grow. It kind of just let Alex finally find some type of path, as we see in the later seasons, because we still didn't know what was really going on with him. Now he's staying in the house of his Army's friend, or no, I think he got kicked out or whatever, but still he was staying at that house. It's like, well, you can.
Yeah. So we're going through 3. So yeah, so with Alex, so Alex is actually homeless. Alex is sleeping in his car. He ended up having to trade his car. It's an explanation there why he has because he has this green Jeep now. It's like a cheaper Jeep. He had to trade it. He traded his car for something going on. Watch season 3, and you'll see it. And Quincy is jogging and comes across Alex and sees him sleeping in the car. So Quincy makes it clear we are not friends. This is a charitable donation or charitable event, or I'm basically being charitable. I'm only doing this because he basically says he feels like it would be bad karma for him to not. If he knew about him being homeless and not doing anything, this would be bad karma on him. So he was like, I'm gonna go ahead and be nice, even though I hate you because you slept with my wife. I'm still be nice.
Right.
We actually open up season 3 with Benji. Him and Miles. Miles now lives with Benji. We skipped something. I'm sorry. Season 2, we skipped something. Dub is going off at the mouth, and Miles punches him in the face. And
That's
then
right.
Dub actually contacts Child Services and gets Miles arrested. And so
that's right.
Yeah, so that's all that situation. And so now we're on season 3. Miles is living with Big. Miles does not have a job. He got fired. Dub ended up moving back in with his mom. And yeah, so basically Miles has this record now because he's been arrested and all sort of stuff. So now Miles is living with Benji. They're having this party, thing, and then Benji he's in it now. He's in the drugs. He's doing it like out in the open. Ain't no hiding. I'm doing the lines. I'm doing them. So Benji is on a downward spiral. Not going to work. None of that stuff or whatever. Miles ends up hiring Walter to be his lawyer to help him, his situation situated. So there's a scene. This is another good scene between Courtney and Donald, which was great. When Benji sees Alex and Gabby together after having lunch. Beautiful scene. It's a beautiful scene. Like I said, I could talk about Donald and Courtney's just their chemistry together as Alex and Benji all day. Yeah, like they were literally like really the nucleus of Brotherhood. Like really.
Oh yeah.
So everybody, like I said, everybody played a very important part on the show, but just as far as really, like I said, the nucleus of Brotherhood is definitely would be Alex and Benji.
Yeah,
sure.
Most definitely.
So yeah, they had a confrontation because of Benji. He's high. He's thinking that Alex and Gabby are hooking up and all this other stuff. So he confronts them and then he storms off. But Alex sees the signs. He says Benji is high because I used to be that way. I know what that looks like. So then we have Pastor Miller. He is so Tiana and Craig are now living at the house. Miller is making Craig work at the church and work on the campaign. He also says, Craig, you are going to marry Tiana because it doesn't look right that you're having a baby out of wedlock. Yeah, again, Miller is unhinged. Like it's slowly again breaking down, and it's like he's becoming more unhinged as the episodes keep going on. But then later on in the episode, we find out that there's somebody shows up at the door, and his name is Ray, and he says, "You had sex with my mom when y'all were in high school, and I am your son." There's that.
Pass the pass.
I know, right? I know. And then also, so with Lionel, so Lionel and Jonathan have a run-in with the person that's running against them, and come to find out that Lionel and her are sleeping together.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a whole bunch of entanglements going on.
Melrose
Place. And speaking of Lionel, Jax and the professor, they're still sleeping together as well. They're still messing around. But Jax and Craig's friend, Kalisa, she's onto it. She knows. She said something going on. Like she knows that they are messing around. Kind of actually, Kalisa actually puts a camera in Jax's room and does surveillance on Jax and Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
So she is not playing, but also kind of find out that she is the niece of the person that's running against Lionel and Jonathan.
Yeah.
So she is her niece, and so she's doing all this intel for her auntie. Also at the time, because again, she doesn't like the professor, she's mad at Jax, so she's doing what she needs to do to basically ruin their lives. I'm up here looking for this person's name because I could not find who can run against. I could not find her name, and I'm trying to find it. The thing is when you write this stuff and you have so many characters, it's like it's really hard to keep it. It's really hard to keep a track. Not going to front. Here it is, Olivia Carter.
Olivia. Oh,
that's the person. That's the person that's running against. Her name's Olivia.
Okay.
So that's that. That's going on with that. Let's see. So we got so Walter. Walter has a new nanny.
Oh, Walter.
Walter has a nanny. Her name is Maya. So she's helping him with the kid. Obviously, a sexual attraction between them, and Walter's trying to fight it, but you know the flesh is weak. So we'll get there. Sure, we'll get there when we get towards the end. I'm trying to cover up the beginning episodes. Let's see. Craig. I already talked about Craig. Basically, Craig is just Craig's ex-girlfriend shows up. She moves back to town. She's working at the church. She says, "You were once the love of my life. You know, you still have my heart." All this other stuff. So Craig is trying to fight that temptation. He's like, "No, I'm gonna be faithful to Tiana." However, Tiana is fantasizing about Dre. You know, she's pregnant and stuff. And honestly, with Tiana. Like Tiana, and I'm speaking as the character. I'm thinking as the character, not me as the writer, but me as thinking in the character's POV. I really think Tiana, like I said, Tiana feels stuck in this situation. She doesn't. Yeah, she was upset with Craig. He suggested having an abortion on season 1. She was upset about that. So I know I think she definitely wanted to keep the baby because of her past trauma with her mom. Her mom didn't want her. Oh, we saw that in season 2. But I just think like this whole craziness of this family, I think she feels stuck, and Dre was her escape. It was like, all right, like you're here, you know, you're attractive, like, you know, like I don't feel like she really liked Dre. It was just, again, he was just that escape for her, I think, throughout all this madness that she was in.
That was something. Oh, Katrina. She was gonna move away with her boyfriend and take Miles' children away.
Yes, thank you because that was mentioned in season 2. Correct. Thank you so much. Yes, Katrina did say she saw her boyfriend got a job in New York, and Katrina was like, "I got custody of the kids. I'm taking the kids with me. I'm moving to New York with Jerome," and so they bounced. That's what. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. That's why. That's another reason why Miles hired Walter. He's like, to get my kids back. Help me get my kids back.
Mm-hmm.
So Katrina is in New York with Jerome and the kids, and so Miles is obviously I still calling all the time, and like not letting him talk to the kids and stuff like that. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. I forgot all about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so Dub is staying with his mom, and let's see. Season 2 was also season 2 with Katie when she slapped him.
Season 3.
This is 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right. So because the mom was trying to get him back in school, and then he asked Katie to help him tutor. He's trying to have sex with her. Katie is not having it, and Katie slaps the mess out of him. So Dub is definitely, like I said again, Dub is a tormented character, and you can tell again that he is seeking this attention, but he's definitely going about it the wrong way. And again, it's like because he feels like he's seeking something from his dad that he's not getting, and it's like he's acting out, like, please, pay attention to me. And he's like just doing all this stuff, and so it's like Dub again. Dub is definitely a tormented young man, and doing all these things. Like, also, he's correlating what he sees his dad got all these multiple kids with these women. Not using protection. He even says in season 2 he likes to hit it raw. He likes to how it feels. Yeah. He said that. So
I was like, I think he also is kind of wanting to, I guess, recreate what he sees in his dad. Like, I'm gonna be like my dad. He's doing this. He got all these children. You don't have to really have any responsibility for him. So,
right.
And then season 4, of course, something else happens. With him trying to be like his dad. So
right. So that's pretty much what's going on with. Like I said, we'll wait to the last episode to talk about the ending stuff with season 3. Let's see. Yeah, Benji, he's still, like I said, he's dealing with that. He's getting fired. Okay, so Miles sees Nikita. Nikita has a new boyfriend. She has a man, and come to find out that her new man, Keith, is Benji's boss. So I purpose, like I said, my thing with Brotherhood was I wanted to make sure that things were interconnected. It's people are connected some type of way. It was just around the main people. It wasn't like they were just randomly there. Like, it was a connection for some type of way. So that was important that I make sure people were connected some type of way. So yeah. So he's so Keith fires Benji. And also Nikita is pregnant. That's revealed as well. She's pregnant. She got this new house. They, new man living together, and she has having a new baby and all that great stuff. And we'll wait to the end to talk about the ending. So that's that. Let's see. Quincy. What's Quincy doing?
Well, he's staying at the house with the brother-in-law. Of course, when he finally finds out after rummaging through the cabinets that he is taking HIV medication, then that's a big catastrophe that happens.
Right. Yes. Okay, so here's also another major storyline that happened in season 3, and this is what leads us to Jordan Dixon. So Quincy gets a phone call that one of their people has died and committed suicide.
Oh,
he gets a call from Brock. Another one of their unit mates, Brock. Brock calls them and tells them that one of their unit mates has committed suicide. So Alex and Quincy drive up north to go to the funeral. They staying with Brock. And Brock it's revealed. Brock finds out that Alex slept with Tamika because Alex is still mourning Tamika's death, and so Quincy about to fight. And Brock's like, "No, y'all can't do this. We're brothers. We gotta be here for one another." Da, da, da. It's so funny because every time I watch that scene, I have to send that scene to two people. I have to send to Jules because there's this part where Donald holds his fist up like this. And Saad makes a joke about that all the time. He's like, "Why is Donald's hand like this?"
He was supposed to swing and did that. Okay.
You have to let Donald explain. Donald explained this several times. If you watch the VPN chat, we talked about it.
Okay.
Explain why he did that. Like he was on Black Power.
Right.
And I have to send that scene to Nelson too. Nelson cannot stand that scene because he is upset with Frank's character, like what Frank said. Like Frank's character said, basically like, "We got beef here for another," but Nelson was like, "No, hello, he slept with my wife. I don't care. We're not friends. I'm not trying to be friends with him because he slept with my wife. I don't care. I don't care about this whole brotherhood stuff. Like, no, he slept with my wife." So Nelson doesn't like that scene. So every time I watch, I always send it to Saw and Nelson because it's to me how I both react to that scene. So in that, Brock calls Jordan Dixon. Jordan Dixon also served in their unit, and she says, "I'm leaving. I'm going to Georgia." And Brock says, "Funny, Alex Bell is on his way back to Georgia." And so this is Jordan Dixon introduced, and this is where sisterhood is born with Jordan Dixon. So when I was starting season 3, I said, yes, I want to do sisterhood. I want to character Jordan Dixon, and we're going to introduce her through Alex and Quincy and her connection with them. So yes, and to answer your question, you didn't ask me a question, but I feel like it was in your brain. I immediately wanted Janika to play Jordan Dixon. I already knew in my head. I was like, I want Janika. That's what I want. I want Janika to play. She had played. She was on the Lions Den like briefly, but she had to take a break from acting, and then I messaged her. I said, Janika, I need you to come back. Like I need, if you want, I would love for you to play Jordan Dixon. Like I have this character. You're the only person I really see playing this part. So yeah, I was like, I knew I wanted to do sisterhood. Yes, we need to. This is how we're going to introduce these characters. Yeah, so that's we have Jordan Dixon, and then so of course we see that Jordan Dixon and Alex have this thing. They have this thing, and Alex quickly sees Alex is over Tamika because him and Jordan end up getting together. Yeah. So
in that same bed. No.
So we have that. Quincy, like you said, we already mentioned that Marcus finds the HIV medication, the medication to help with the diagnosis and things like that. And so Marcus punches Quincy, finds out Quincy's the reason not to be committed suicide. Marcus ends up getting jumped in the alley, getting beat up by Marcus and his goons. So there's that. We have Craig sees Tiana kissing Dre. So Craig goes and sleeps with his ex. Like, I'm about to go do my thing with her. Like nobody, this is big wedding supposed to happen at the house. Nobody's there. Like the mama shows up. Jonathan's mother shows up. Yeah, played by the late Maxine Barnett Nesbitt. May she rest. She was amazing in that. That's amazing. Like just we saw like this is the first time we saw Jonathan like afraid and actually lower himself. Like Jonathan's like this, and this is the first time we really see Jonathan like really lower himself at somebody. Like his mama was playing with him.
Not play. She knocked his face on the floor. That's all on the ground.
Yes. And also, go ahead.
The dynamics between Walter Quincy and Pastor Miller. We start getting into. Okay, I loved how we got that backstory as to what is really driving Jonathan and a lot of his decisions and how he views stuff. It was a lot to see how complex this character was. And I'm still remembering when he slapped Carolyn.
Yes.
It was the thing of when he would do stuff, he would do it and then like, I can't believe I did it. At least in the earlier seasons. Now later on, we see that something has totally taken over him.
Right.
Like, so it's been interesting to see the metamorphosis of his character throughout the seasons. But I did like how you added that dynamic, at least to let us know what Jonathan's problem was with Quincy and Walter.
Right. For again. Are stepbrothers. Jonathan's mother married Quincy and Walter's father. So they're stepbrothers, but Jonathan doesn't really claim them. Like,
right.
Jonathan really had nothing to do with them. So yeah, so that's the section there too. Let's see. Tiana. Okay, another connection here. So come to find out that Tiana is actually, we found this out in season 2. Tiana is the daughter of Lionel Claiborne. Lionel never claimed her. Lionel actually paid the mama to like keep them away from, like keep her away from him. He don't want nothing to do with neither one of them. He even tells the mom, don't call me ever again. I don't want to hear ever from you ever again. So Tiana is the daughter of Lionel, and when Olivia actually tells Lionel, Olivia comes across because Jonathan is still sleeping with Charlene. Charlene's working for Olivia. Charlene recorded Jonathan, so Olivia has all this footage, this audio. And she's basically saying, hey, you need to, basically what I want you to do is I want you to drop out the race and run with me, be my lieutenant governor. Run from, be on my ticket and drop Jonathan Miller. So Lionel ends up dropping Jonathan. Jonathan's pissed. And Jonathan threatens Lionel, like, what happened? Tiana found out on her wedding day that you were her dad. Tiana overhears it, so now Tiana knows the truth that Lionel Claiborne's her dad. She's in the car with Dre. She started having pregnancy pain, like labor pains or whatever. Something's going on. Like she's, and she's like she needs to go to the hospital. JT, I didn't touch on JT this season. JT this season, he's in his relationship with Richie. Richie, however, his father doesn't have an issue with Richie being gay. Richie's father has issue with him dating a black man. So we got a racist storyline now coming into play, which I definitely wanted to do because I was like, okay, because again, I was like, okay, it would be interesting to see how this father, he has a problem with his son's sexuality. He has a problem with he's just a racist.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be, yeah, that would be an interesting storyline to tackle, and how they dealt with that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 And it's interesting because in the Black community, if you are gay, it's a lot more shunned upon. And then of course, it is also in the white community, but it's just like a no if you are gay in the Black community. So now to see a white man accept his white son for being gay, but stay away from them ninjas, So that was interesting to see because we had one father over here. We had two things coming up against that couple, even though what's his name, Pastor Miller didn't want anything to do with his son. So,
yeah. Let's see. Okay, so we got JT covered. Of course, Richie was like, "No, I'm not listening to that." So him and Rich, so JT and Richie are good. Talked about Craig, his ending, what happened in the end for him in that season. Okay, so Kalisto, Jax, Lionel actually shows Jennifer that because Lionel gets his envelope and he gets the envelope and it shows Jennifer and Jax together, their footage from the camera. And so Lionel's like, you better handle this to Jennifer. Jennifer confronts Jax. Jax, finally sees the camera. He leaves a message on Kalisa's voicemail. And it sounds very incriminating. Because he's like, I think I said, hope you die, B, or something like that. Jax wakes up because he's been drinking, and he wakes up the next morning. Kalisa's body's in his bed,
yeah,
and then Jax gets arrested. Come to find out that Jennifer hired Dre to kill Kalisa, and Jennifer and Dre also broken up. They share a kiss after that. And also comes to find out that Dre is not Jonathan Miller's son. Jennifer had something to do with orchestrating papers and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a whole twisted mess.
And the only son. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And the only son that Pastor Miller will accept is a side baby from somewhere. That ain't his anyway.
It's not. It is. Jonathan doesn't know this. Jonathan thinks that Dre is his son, but yes, it's not his son. So let's get to Walter. This is the big thing. It was the big explosion of the season. So Walter ends up sleeping with the nanny. Come to find out that the nanny is actually 16 years old. And she doesn't she's in school, doesn't go to school. Like, she actually this whole adult identity. And I'm going to be real with you. There are people that do that. That's a whole thing. It's real. People faking and pretending to be older than what they are, trying to trap people. Not just women, men too. It's a whole thing. So she basically was it was revealed that she is the daughter of Walter's boss, and she's 16 years old. And he goes out and throws up. He's like, because he didn't know. He thought, she had. Well, that is revealed in season 4, but in season 4 is revealed that she had fake ID. She did all this fake stuff, and she's done it before, several people before. So it's it's the whole thing. But that was the big explosion of season 3. I remember we actually had a viewing party for the BrothAhood for season finale, and the actors they've said this. Some of the actors don't read the whole script. They'll just read their parts because they want to be surprised like the audience. And so I just remember we was all in the living room. That scene happened when he found out, when Walter found out that she was 16. Everybody was like, ah! It was like, ah! It was like,
I was.
I gotta find the Facebook Live. I might clip it when I edit this. I might clip it onto that. But it was like, oh, it was crazy.
That was insane.
What was your thoughts when that was revealed? What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I said, this girl, I was like, you really went that far, Carlton? But Walter didn't know. And I mean, it's not like the character looked like she was 16. So it was just like, what is going to happen to him? Because I was wondering how this girl is going to act towards him now, and what this would do. Like, I'm sure he wouldn't continue on, but is this girl going to continuously try to come on to him? Or it was interesting, and it was quite. It gave Walter some flavor after so long being so widowed. He don't really know what to do with his life, or he's trying to, as far as his love life. Like, I think everything else was pretty much together, and then all of a sudden, the person he finally lets loose on was totally inappropriate.
Right, 1,000%. So back to Dub real quick. Dub, he's selling weed. His mom finds it. This is his mom. His mom kicks him out the house. And shout out to Kim Grant too. Like, she's amazing. Like, she really
amazing.
She yeah. There's a reason why she got that nomination from the ISAs, because she. It's something about the way she portrayed Kendra. Like, she really gave that mother, like, it reminded me of Aunt Viv. That's what she reminds me of. Yeah, she definitely reminds me of Janet Hubert. For sure.
Okay. I could do
that. Yeah. So yeah. So her chemistry with her and Mitchell. Mitchell's like, everybody's great. Like I said, I hate when I call out people because I want people like, oh, you call me out. Everybody's great. And I'm just thinking of, as I'm thinking, like, I'm mentioning people, but yeah, Mitchell definitely. And for people who don't know, Mitchell's actually a grown man. Mitchell is grown. A lot of people think Mitchell's definitely not a teenager. Mitchell's grown. He just still has like features in his face, which is great. Like, he can audition for the channel still and be like, get a part, because
Right. He got
my other friend Nicole Williams is like that too. Like, we're the same age, but she's like, she still has that. She still gives teenager, like a young person. So, like, they could. That's good for an actor. Like, you can look at Bianca Lawson. Bianca Lawson played high school for like years.
Right.
So
he did it. He really played it.
Yeah. Mitchell did an excellent job playing Dub, for sure. And then Miles ends up. So Walter was able to make things happen with the legal stuff, and Walter ends up going to New York to confront Katrina, and come to find out that Katrina and Jerome got married, and Jerome threatens Walter and says, "I'm going to, because Katrina has sole custody and all this other stuff, I'm going to legally, and now that I'm married to Katrina, I'm going to legally adopt your kids. They're going to call me daddy." And then Miles tries to leave, and Jerome pulls out the gun. Jerome like, "Don't play with me. I'm from these streets. Don't play with me." And that's that. And so Miles has to leave with his tail tucked between his legs. So he leaves out of there. Another great, powerful scene from season 3 was the intervention scene for Benji. with Gabby, Miles, Alex, and the person they got to facilitate. Shout out to my guy, Marius McCluskey. I asked him at first. He was in my very first web series, college days, and it did my heart so good to have him on Brotherhood because he saw me from my start. Like he knew, like he was there from the, he started from when I started web series, and I wanted him to see where I was now. And it was beautiful to have him on that set and playing that part. So it was that was a great moment for me. But that was a powerful scene. That was that Courtney Gray. Everybody did that in that scene. But specifically, like I said, like you can see the pain in Courtney's eyes, especially the part when he comes back home and nobody's there. He's like, everybody always leaves me again. It's already alluding to his family, him feeling alone, and like he literally feels alone. And so like that scene when he was by himself, it was just scene, and like I said, it was great. It was great.
Right. Yeah, I understand. I feel every emotion that Courtney does give us. Like anything from if he's angry, I can still hear a cry out of him, even if he's not crying. It's just like how he portrays these characters. In specifics, Benji is just like, and there's no way to leave confused when he gets done with a scene. You're going to know exactly what's going on with this character and all that. So,
and so we're gonna go ahead and skip to these endings. Everybody's ending. I already said Craig's. Let's see. I already said Jack's. Let's see. Lionel. I already said Lionel's. He drops him and ended up doing the ticket with Olivia. Quincy. Yeah, I did this. So basically, we're down to end with Alex and Jordan that get done doing what they do. Jordan says, I'm going to Augusta to connect with my sister and my friends. And so she gets in her car and she gets on the road and she's on her way to sisterhood. So that is the connection to sisterhood. Benji, Gabby comes to say goodbye. Gabby's moving to LA. They sleep together one last time. He sleep. She leaves while he's asleep. And then he goes to urinate. Come to find out he has blood in his piss. So he has blood, and so he's like freaking out. And the cliffhanger for this is John. The knock at the door. He turns around. He gets shot. We don't know who shot Jonathan Miller. And so at the end, JT shows up, and JT is the one that calls 911 and tries to save his father. Couple of behind the scenes things. I was originally going to kill Jonathan Miller off after this season. This was going to be done for him. This was it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Wow. It was not good for season 4. This is before I decided that season 4 was going to be the last season. I was going to keep it going. I was probably going to keep Brotherhood going for season 5 or 6. I think originally. So yeah, Jonathan Miller was going to die. It was going to be a whodunit, who killed Jonathan. Like we still had it for season 4. Like, well, not really. It wasn't like it was. I was going to really do a whodunit. Like it could have been like it was going to be the focus of season 4, like who killed Jonathan Miller, kind of like who shot Jay. Actually, Jonathan Miller was going to be there. So that was that. What was the other thing? We shot everybody. So I had different people shoot the gun. So I had Joshua play JT. Who plays Craig. I had Brandon who plays JT. Lucky plays Shirley. Is that name Shirley? I think her name's Shirley. Charlene. Sorry, Shirley. Charlene. I had Tanya who played the mama. I had her do it. I had DJ Swag who played Jackson's dad.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had him do it. I had multiple people come in and do it because I didn't know who shot Jonathan Miller at the time. I wasn't sure I wanted to do it. So I wasn't sure. But I was saying, yeah, this is gonna be a Pastor Miller, he's gonna die. This is it. Then we're going to Sisterhood. We're going to Brotherhood season 4. We're almost at 2 hours. I want to try to wrap this up. And I want to also leave for you to ask questions. We're on Sisterhood, and the first thing that we see, first of all, Sisterhood, of course, people know Sisterhood was a series at first, and then Maverick wanted it as a movie, so we ended up compiling all 5 episodes together and making it to a film. So that's that. Start off with Jordan driving into Augusta, and she gets a phone call from Alex checking on her to make sure that she's getting to Augusta safely. I originally was going to take that scene out of the movie. I was like, when we decided to do the movie, I was going to originally take that scene out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because even though we know as a spinoff, I was like, since this is going to be a film, I wanted to kind of keep it self-contained. I didn't really want it to like really connect it to Brotherhood at the time, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I kept it in there. Because that's obviously vital for Sisterhood too.
Okay.
Yeah. So we start off with that. Then we meet Dr. Maya Prescott. Dr. Maya Prescott and Jordan are best friends. Dr. Maya Prescott is sleeping with her client. Keith. His name is Keith, not in relation to the other Keith in Brotherhood. But she's sleeping with her client. And then we also meet Amelia. She's the first lady of the church. She's being neglected by her husband, who's busy as an elder of the church. She's trying to move on to be a pastor. But she's feeling neglected. And he is basically like the owner of the coffee shop, Jake, is flirting with her. Like basically showing her the attention that she is desiring from her husband, and she's feeding into it. Like she likes it. You know what I'm saying? And then we have Teresa, who is Amelia's friend, but also like a sister. They're in-laws because Teresa's ex-husband is Amelia's husband's brother. They're brothers. So we have that, and then we have Jaslyn, who is Jordan's sister. She's a musician. She's a singer. She's an artist. So as we see her studio doing her thing, and we meet her best friend. What's her best friend name? Chloe. We meet Chloe, who is Jackson's best friend, and then we have Michelle. We meet Michelle because Jordan is jogging and she runs into her ex-fiance Maurice, and then Layla Michelle is with Maurice, and her name is Layla Michelle. One word. It's Layla Michelle. One word. Y'all better say Layla Michelle. But Jordan, of course, just calls her Layla just to piss her off. So, but it's Layla Michelle. The ladies get together, and they're like, "Where's Dawn? Where's Dawn?" So Dawn is at her place trying to come, but her husband Rico is very abusive, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all that. He's very abusive. He's like, "You ain't going nowhere." So basically, he has her trapped in the house. So Dawn is not going anywhere. At this party, we find out that Chloe comes, and we find out that Chloe is now engaged to Keith Harris. And Keith Harris is the person that's also sleeping with Dr. Maya Prescott. So Dr. Maya Prescott did not know that Keith was involved with somebody. You can see that on her face. So yes. So that's how everything starts up with Sisterhood. We see Jordan. She's really sexually liberated. She she likes to do her thing. my mom cannot stand that character. Like, she can't stand Jordan Dixon.
I'll be rooting for Layla Michelle. Nah.
So basically, her guys don't really have a good relationship. Jordan doesn't support Jaslyn and what she wants to do with her career, being in music and everything. So they don't have a good relationship. Let's see. And then with Teresa, her ex Frank doesn't spend time with their son Taylor. Frank, played by the great Nathan Rothwell. And yeah, it's been easier for me to watch the he's been before. I really couldn't really watch anything. But it's been easy, and it's a comfort, like, to really see him on the screen. But he's definitely sorely missed for sure. But yeah. So Frank is neglecting his son, but Teresa still has this connection with him, so they end up still sleeping together, even though Frank is in a whole relationship with somebody else. So they have a thing going on. What else? Maya's upset with Keith. Maya is like, and this is something I want to do. Even though we have these feelings for people and we know we're not supposed to be in situations, sometimes we still give in. We still give in. I did not want that for Maya. I did not want that for her. And I want to show her, though, still being human. Yes, I still love this man. Yes, I still want to sleep with him. He has great sex. I do want to sleep with him, but I know the situation now, and I'm not going to put myself in a situation to be with him. I want to show that. I'm like, not everybody gives into their sexual desires, their lusts. Not everybody does that, So I want to make sure I showed that with Dr. Maya Prescott. She even fantasizes about a lot, but still, I'm not doing it. So I thought that was an important show.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Basically, this whole back and forth thing with Jordan and Maurice. Jordan trying to commentary. Maurice is like, I'm happy. I'm in a relationship. Like, leave me alone. You have met the altar. Like, leave me alone. But it's just this thing. And Layla Michelle is like, she's not having it. Her and Jordan have this bitter rivalry now. But Jordan is like, he's mine. That's my man. Always gonna be my man. I don't care who I'm with. He's always gonna be my man. That's her attitude. That's her thinking. I want to ask you this: do you think? And me watching it back, I was like, yeah, definitely. Do you think Jordan is meaner on Sisterhood than on Brotherhood? Like, it's like her attitude is like completely different when she was on Brotherhood and versus Sisterhood. Like, she's like, I remember Risha was like, Jordan is really mean towards us. Like, she's nicer to Alex and Quincy than she is to us. Like, she's really mean.
Yeah. It's interesting because if this group is her girls or friends, I'm like, okay. But she does act differently with her army people, her army brothers, if you want to call them that. But when she gets down here, I mean, if you're not Maya or Dawn, then I ain't really seen it for you. I think that they're, even as sexually liberated as she is, even how she treated that one dude, it was like, I'm gonna get mine and I don't care about you. It's like there's some type of chip on her shoulder. Something is there. And there's a guard up even in her own hometown that she was supposed to come in, and I guess I forgot what she was going there just to, I don't know, I forgot what she said, but she just wanted to reconnect down there, but her guard is up since coming back there. We do know that she did well, I don't know if you said it all, but she called off the engagement or called off the engagement and the wedding, and she just left. So now she got to come back and confront this stuff, but she's confronting it in a very way. Like, it's just like, okay, well, you know, you messed up, and you coming back like you're on a vengeance for something that you messed up.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. She's a complex.
Very complex. Very complex. Which is one thing I do love about Jordan. I love how complex that she is. For sure. Yeah, so there's this thing. Of course, she goes to check on Dawn, and she figures out that Dawn is being abused by her husband. So she has, you know, she Jordan, as mean or like, she's basically the queen bee of the group, right? But she carries a lot on her back and on her shoulders, and you'll see that in sisterhood too. So you'll see a lot of that, but she carries some of it is self-inflicted. Like, she puts a lot of stuff on her own back.
Okay.
So yes, yeah, like I said, she's definitely a complex character for sure. So basically, we found out also with Jaslyn, she has opportunities to work with his music producer. He's a creep. He does drugs. He tries to sleep with her. She's like, no. And he's like, you gotta pay me all this crazy amount of money for my, and she just leaves. So it's like her dreams are being crushed. Not only does she not have the support of her sister, but it's like her dreams are being crushed right in front of her eyes. Chloe is like clueless about what's going on. Keith is clearly like wants to be with Maya, but it's like he's trying to still be there, be the fiance, but he clearly wants to be with Maya. And Chloe is clueless. She's planning this whole Winter Wonderland wedding and all this other stuff. And he's just, gaslighting her for sure. What else? We already talked about Frank and Teresa. Amelia. Jake actually goes and confronts his husband, Cedric, and that does not sit right with Cedric. Cedric's about to beat him up in church. Actually should have. And Amelia ends up kissing Jake. They share a kiss. And then Cedric is like, when she gets home, Cedric's trying to like apologize and like, listen, I'm sorry. I'm going to do better as a husband and all sort of stuff. So he basically, Jake put a battery in Cedric's back. Like, you know, you got to step it up and be better at, you know, being a husband and stuff like that. Which again, another relevant topic. A lot of times, especially when you work in the church, a lot of times people do get your home is your first ministry. Again, it's important, of course, to do God's work. That's definitely important, especially if that's what you're called to do. But your family is also like, your family is priority, so.
Mm-hmm. Right.
A lot of times, especially when you're working in ministry, you're doing so much work that you're neglecting what your first responsibility is, that what God has given you, which is your family. So
right.
So like I said, I thought that was important to definitely touch on that. So we get to the end of the hood, and Jordan reveals to Layla all the stuff that, she was his fiance, that she still has the ring, which is his grandmother's ring. He's wearing a bracelet that she brought him. There's different things that she's throwing at Layla, and Layla Michelle cannot take it anymore. So she ends up breaking up with Maurice. And then of course Jordan comes over to apologize, and she pours her heart out to him, and he gives in because he's still in love with Jordan. Obviously, they sleep together, and while they are having intercourse, she calls out the name Camille, and that's how we end sisterhood.
Oh, go ahead on, but
go ahead.
Yeah, it's that complexity. I'm like, so you got this going on now? I mean, we went from Alex to, oh, you got this fiance that you done left, and now because there's this Camille person. So obviously it's something that stopped this relationship, cold blood, that she had been able to really deal with until now.
Right. I'm putting my headphones on because it's getting quite late over here, and I was let me put the headphones on.
Okay.
So we had that's how sisterhood ends, and then we can jump into brotherhood the final season. When I made the decision that this was going to be the last season of brotherhood, I said no, I need Jonathan to stick around for this last season. So I decided to write in that JT did save him. And he saved his life. And I was debating if I wanted to make Jonathan nicer, because a lot of times when traumatic stuff happens to you, normally it makes you a nicer person, like you want to do better in life.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? Let's just go balls to the wall. Let's just take it up a notch. Let's just go crazy with it. Since this is gonna be the last season of Brotherhood. And shout out to Reggie. He definitely did his thing. That for sure. So we have season 4. We start off with Craig, and he gets a phone. His mother comes in and says that his father has been shot. And then Craig gets another phone call. Gets a phone call, and obviously it's bad news by the look on his face. So we jump in months later, come to find out that Craig and Tiana lost the baby. Tiana was in a car accident with Dre, and the baby did not make it. We also find out that Benji has been in rehab, and Alex goes to pick him up. And in that scene, we see Alex actually making a phone call to Jordan, and he gets Jordan's voicemail. So he hasn't really talked to Jordan since they had their hookup back in season 3. But we see that Alex and Benji are getting along, building their brotherhood, their relationship. Miles is now working as this, regular job. He's working for the city. He's obviously in turmoil because he doesn't have any of his kids with him. Miles does see Benji selling drugs, and Miles does confront Benji. I'm sorry, Dub. I'm saying Benji, Dub. Miles sees Dub selling drugs, and Miles does confront Dub, saying, "We're going to do this." Actually revealed that Miles used to actually be in the streets because one of Dub's friends tried to pull a gun on him, and Miles was like, I used to be in these streets. You better ask about me, all this other stuff. So we have that. Quincy is still dealing with his HIV diagnosis and trying to live with that. We kind of find out that Walter actually quits at the law firm. He's living with him, and his kids are not living with Quincy. And they're not. So basically, that's when it's revealed that the 16-year-old, she's done this several times. She faked the ID. Walter has all the text messages, all the emails, everything, all the evidence to prove that he was hoodwinked and fooled with that whole situation. And basically nobody's pressing any charges, and there's a lot of scandal happening from his work at anyway. So nothing's really gonna happen. So basically, he dodged a bullet with that whole situation. Jackson's still in jail. Jackson's still in prison. Because all the evidence is still pointing at him that he killed Kalisa. Lionel is the lieutenant governor. He's still sleeping with Olivia. Jennifer wants a divorce, but Lionel's like, "You're not gonna get it. You're not getting a divorce. You're gonna still be my wife. I don't care." Because he does have the evidence that Drake was the one that killed Kalisa, put her in Jack's bed, so he has all the evidence, and that Jennifer was behind the whole thing. Because come to find out that Dre was also working for, Dre was doing double duty. Dre was also working for Lionel as well.
So that was a good couple.
What else do we have here? And like I said, and Alex is now living with Benji and Miles. So I hit them. And I believe I got everybody. Yeah, I got everybody. And JT. So like I said, we found out that JT was the one that basically saved Jonathan's life. But Jonathan, he's a horrible SOB, and he just basically was like, I would have rather have died to have your lips on mine. So it was a whole thing, and you could see the evil in Jonathan's eyes. Like basically now it's getting to the point now, like, no, you're just pure evil now. Even the way he talks to JT, the way he talks to Craig later, like when Craig comes in, because he basically is accusing Craig of shooting him, even though he didn't see the person. He recognized the gun, and he accuses Craig of being the one that shot him. But basically, Jonathan's alone. Jonathan has nobody. Nobody's in the house with him. The wife is gone. His mom is gone. His brother don't talk to him. His sons don't. His sons are trying to deal with him, but he's pushing them away with his evilness. So Jonathan's alone. He's tormented. He's definitely tormented, because he's even to the point where he's calling himself God. He's calling himself Lucifer. Like he's got a lot of demons that he's definitely dealing with, for sure. For sure. It's also revealed that he's still messing around with Shirley. Like he called her Charlene. Still messing around with Charlene. So that's that. What else is going on? Okay, so also Lionel, it was revealed in season 3 that Lionel actually is over this street drugs. He does that too.
Right. Sir. And you try to run for Congress. I said, okay.
So he's over that. And so basically in season 4, we see that the leader of the street gang that Dub is a part of tells Lionel, listen, we got to go to these corners and we got to do all this other stuff. Lionel's not with it. And then the street leader threatens him. And Lionel is, okay, you're going to threaten me? Got it. So Lionel calls somebody to handle the situation. We find out that the person he called was Dre. Dre was the one that handled it. He shoots all 3 of the guys, including Dub. So Dub also gets shot. And sadly, and again, one of the most powerful scenes of Brotherhood, Dub shows up on Miles' doorstep. Miles is trying to save his son, and Dub says that he's sorry, and Miles says he's sorry, and Dub dies in his arms. Such a sad. It was sad to write, and it was sad to film, and it's definitely sad to watch. Shout out to Kelvin and Mitchell. They demolished that scene. It was a sad thing to watch, but it's a beautiful thing to watch at the same time, because like it just really embodied that, like actually having your son die in your arms. and seeing the son, you see that regret in that scene. Like the son is like, I'm about to die, and all this could have been prevented. Same thing with Miles. He's regretting a lot of stuff too. All of this could have been prevented, but here we are. So,
yeah. But, it's a lot. It's heavy, and I think you portrayed it so real, though. That stuff happens, especially if somehow they could have turned things around, but Dub wouldn't listen. Miles didn't have no type of really reach to him, and he had to really just let his son go. I mean, literally, physically, and he couldn't do nothing about it. And there's so many symbolisms that were happening in Miles' life because his other children were leaving him, were actually being kept from him. Another one left the earth, and the other one we don't know anything about yet. So it's like, oof, that was a lot to see Miles go through, and to see if he had actually stepped up a long time ago for Dub, things could have been a lot better. So, it's a lot. It's a lot emotional. So, yeah, they did their thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Let's see what else. So basically, through this last season, again, we're just basically seeing everybody trying to, well, for the most part, trying to improve their relationships, improve their lives. We see that Benji is going through something else. Alex is trying to figure out what it is. But Benji is like just trying to keep a happy friend. Like, I'm good. Everything's good. He's coming up with stuff or whatever. They're trying to be there for Miles as he's dealing with the death of his son. Miles is starting to spiral. He's drinking a lot more. He's lashing out at people. Also, find out, like, we saw that a flashback to, we saw this in season 3, but we also saw it in season 4. Miles and Nikita slept together after he got picked up from prison, because she was the one that bailed him out of prison when he got, out of jail when he got arrested. They slept together, and it revealed that she's pregnant with his baby, not Keith's. So Miles is like, I need this baby. And the kid's like, no, you're not going to be a part of this baby's life. It's Keith's. And that's that. So also that he lost another child, basically. So there's that. And we see Quincy. We find out that Quincy has an adult daughter. He tells Walter that he had somebody pregnant, and he was I think he said 15. He was 15 years old, and he found her. She's there. He hasn't met her yet, though, and she doesn't know about him. But I think says she'll know about him. But either way, they never met, because the mother, the parents moved her away when she found out she was pregnant. They moved her away. So Quincy hasn't had any contact with his child, until now. So got that out. Later on, let's see, Quincy, Walter is in limbo, because again, even though nobody's doing any charges, he still has that fear. Like he even has a night dream, a day nightmare or whatever in the shower that he got arrested. But kind of find out that he actually is offered a job to work in the DA's office. And then we find out also that the DA and Lionel, they used to have a relationship. Lionel been all over the place too. And so yeah. So, but Walter tells that Katie has the opportunity to go to a school or something in DC, and so Walter says, "I want to support my daughter, so we're all gonna just move to DC, support her, and all so he's gonna move him and the other kids are gonna move to DC with Katie, so she can go pursue, what she wants to do." We found out though, so sad news. We found out with Benji. Dre's also revealed to have been used. That's not his real name. It was an alias. So that was revealed as well. Tiana was telling Craig, and all the stuff that was going on, because basically Dre confessed all this while they were in the hospital room. All this, of course, is off camera, but it was said in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so we found out sadly that Benji does have cancer, even though he told Alex in episode 1 of season 4 that he was fine. He was telling the truth. He does have cancer. But Benji has decided not to do chemotherapy or radiation. That he just wants to live his life. He doesn't want to. Basically, he doesn't want to be fighting to live. He wants to actually live. And as somebody who has had cancer firsthand, I can understand that. There was a point when I was going through my when I was getting chemo that I was ready to quit because it was so much. It takes a lot out of it. It drains you physically. It drains you mentally. It's a lot, and you're just like, because you basically have no cells like really in your body. Really, you're really fighting to stay alive. It can be tired and it can become a lot. So I understand. When I wrote that, I felt it. I 1000% felt that. So yeah, so that was heavy to write, but it needed to be out there for sure. So I definitely understand where Benji's coming from. As far as like, I just want to live. I want, because it's that like with me, with my case, they caught it early, so, and I was a fast respondent to everything, even though I still had to go through the regimen.
Mm-hmm.
But with Benji, like, he doesn't, even if he does go through all of that, if he's even still going to make it or not. So it's like, I would just rather just live the days that I have left.
Yeah.
And, do what I need to do. Alex is not happy with that, of course. But eventually Alex decides to support his brother and just be for his brother. Back to Miles, or real quick, Miles, powerful scene again. Kelvin, powerful scene. His we do meet his other baby moms that's in Texas. He's a Caucasian person. I was like, yeah, I want to have a Caucasian baby mom. I want that. Like, even though we don't ever see his other daughter,
Mm-hmm.
I want that. Like, I want that. It was something different, not really different, but like for Miles, you wouldn't really expect for him to,
Right.
date outside his race. But I was like, yeah, I want to do something a little different. So he got told off by her. Kendra said, I wish you were dead because you're the reason why my son is dead. So he has all this stuff going on. And so Miles is basically got the gun and he's about to off himself. But he gets a phone call from Katrina and she apologizes for not being there and not bringing his kids to the funeral. And so he actually talks to his kids. And after talking to them, he decides he needs to live his life. He breaks down. He ends up going to rehab, to a facility. Benji does tell about the cancer as well. So they have their whole last episode just with Benji, Miles, and Alex, and just all the tears, all the emotions. It was so much. So much. It was a lot.
I don't know how many times I cried during season 4. It was just, it was a lot, and even as you first, I just want to say something about Mr. Kelvin and Dub's mom. I don't know the actress name.
Kim.
When they mourned together, when they cried, when he actually said Dub is gone, bravo. I mean, oh my God. That was an emotional scene. And then also when she came back at him and gave all her anger out and frustration for all these years, brilliant. When he was about to end it all, I promise you, I didn't even think, I really thought he was still going to do it. When he got off the phone with the children, because he still had the pistol to his head, I was like, he's still going to do it. He's still going to do it. It was just at the moment until he put it down, I actually believed, okay, he's saved. So Kelvin really did that well. It was very suspenseful, emotional. Oh, it was a lot in that type of scene. So yeah. So I'm kind of reserving myself from not trying to cry now. So
yeah. And so yeah, we jump to Lionel. Lionel goes to the DA. He says, I have all this evidence. I want immunity. Jennifer ends up getting blamed for everything, so Jennifer gets arrested. Olivia gets arrested. So Lionel is sitting pretty like he's at the top, like he's winning. We got Jonathan Miller. He is with Charlene, and he basically is talking down to her after they have sex. He's talking down to her like, you'll never be nothing. I agree with you. And then it is revealed that Charlene is the one that originally shot Jonathan Miller. And she pulls out a gun and about to shoot him again because she's tired of his crap. And so then she ends up offing Jonathan Miller. For real this time. He gets shot in the head. So Jonathan Miller is now dead. And then sadly, Charlene unalives herself. So that was sad as well. But it comes to find out, though, that it was Craig who was the mastermind behind all of this. Craig is the one who gave Charlene the gun to shoot Jonathan the first time. So Jonathan Miller was right. It was Craig, but he just didn't pull the trigger. But he was the puppet master behind all of it.
So the one that you tried to bully, you didn't think he'd have anything. He couldn't do it, pull anything off. He actually was devising your murder or tried to do it, So,
yeah. He was behind it all. He was behind everything. So then he does end up going to see his adult daughter. So he does meet her. And then we get to the end, and Benji wants to go on this road trip, but Alex decides that he can't go right now. So Benji leaves Alex his car, and Benji's going to take a bus to go see the world, go do his thing. They say goodbye, and it is revealed, sadly, Alex is talking, it revealed that Benji was found dead in a motel room due to overdose. The noise is too loud. Not only just with his own inner demons, addictions, and again feeling alone and all things he was dealing with his own family, but just even just with the cancer, it's like, you know what? Life is like, and again, like we have to be careful with our words and just realize we just need to be kind to people. We never know what anybody's going through. Sometimes just a kind word can save a life, So,
yeah,
because sometimes sometimes life would just be too hard for people, and we just need to be more kind. So Benji sadly he overdoses, and and so we kind of end Brotherhood with Alex basically talking about the lessons that he learned from his brother, and we see everybody on their different paths, what they're doing. JT becomes the new pastor of the church. Lionel, he thinks he got his money. He thinks he got. He gets killed by Tiana. Tiana shows up with a gun and shoots him in the head. He's dead. Because she's over it. She's like, whatever, you need to go too. And Miles sees Nikita and Keith with the baby, but then he gets a phone call from Katrina. She's in town with Alex with Mikey and Angie, so he goes to see them. Walter moves to DC, ends up moving to DC with his kids, and at the end we see Alex show up to Quincy's house. Alex is like about to apologize, but Quincy's like, no, let's just move on. We're good. Let's just move on. And life's too short. Let's just move on. And so Quincy tells Alex that he has an adult daughter, so they're going to into the house to talk. And that ends that segment. But then we jump a year later. Alex has written a book based on everything that has happened. And then his friend asked him, so whatever happened with that Jordan woman? Then Alex looks in the camera and it says Sisterhood 2, stay tuned. And so there, ladies and gentlemen, Sisterhood 2 next week will be the conclusion Brotherhood Sisterhood saga. And I'm telling you, you guys are going to be in for a treat. All of your answers probably will be answered. And it's going to be a great conclusion to Sisterhood, but also will really wrap up Brotherhood as well. Because Alex is very prominent in Sisterhood too. So.
Okay.
Yes. Right. So we basically spent 2 hours talking about this. So which was a great conversation. I hope this, if you watch it, I hope this pushes you to watch Brotherhood and watch Sisterhood, and definitely I hope it pushes you to watch Sisterhood 2 next week. I want to close out with you, Lionel. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me?
For Miles, if you had continued on, could you see him actually meeting the new child that was born?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think if the show were to continue, there would have to be a revelation that that's Miles' child. Like, we would need Keith to find out that that's not his kid.
Now, I thought it would have been still cool if Keith found out about it, even during that time, and she just said, look, we're going to raise this child. But I don't know if Keith would have been, like, well, that's still his child. I don't want to just impose. We can raise him, but I just don't want him to be, I don't want this to be a secret or something. I would have liked for her to not keep it a secret from Keith. I'm just giving like my thoughts of what probably could have happened differently for Nikita in this situation. So I was just thinking maybe at least Nikita could have told Keith all along that this was Miles' child or something to that nature. But that's cool that you thought at least you would let Miles to know that the other child was his, or at least get to meet the child. Now, I was heartbroken when Benji died. Like, oh. But how I take it as, there was this dark cloud over the whole family. It's like he was losing all these people. He was going through a lot of traumatic stuff that he never dealt with. I think if he actually dealt with that, because I remember what Gabby, he was trying to get him into counseling. I think he didn't want to go. I know Alex was there as much as he could. I think Alex did what he could, and that's all he could do. I kind of wish, I just wish he hadn't passed away alone. But I love what you did, though. I'm not. It was just like, I wish he had at least his brother around. That like he actually went on the trip, and he still passed away or something. But you know,
yeah. Well, Benji was always going to pass away. That was always going to be like. That was always going to be the end for his character. Now, when it was going to happen, like again, I wasn't sure that season 4 was going to be the end until honestly it took us a long time to even shoot season 4 because of course we had the pandemic and different things was everybody's schedules and stuff like that. So I wanted to go. Let's go end this while we can. Let's go ahead and end it. I don't want to leave anything open ended. But Benji's character was always gonna be his fate as far as like him, becoming unalive. So that was always gonna be his end, So
yeah, I definitely understand it. It was just heartbreaking to actually see.
Yeah, it is. It's very heartbreaking. I mean, it's heartbreaking for me to watch. It's like even like watching that sequence of him walking away and then him just disappearing. Like it's heartbreaking for sure.
Yeah, probably the only thing that I would just like to stick it to Pastor Miller is if he had to have a blood transfusion and had to have JT's blood. Like now, I would have loved that. Just to stick it to him because he was just at that point so mean and nasty for no reason. But overall, the whole series is great. As far as questions, I didn't because it's like I kind of just loved how everything folded out for everyone. I just was only wondering for miles as far as what could happen with him as far as does he actually get it all together, Of course, things were starting to come back in line with him, at least being able to visit with Mikey and Angie, But I would have loved some type of wholeness in his story after all the tragedy that has happened to him and loss, To see someone lose everything and to finally get it together and get it all back. So that would have been cool if it had went on some more seasons. So, but I'm excited for Sisterhood too. I'm very interested to see what happens with Dawn and her situation. And really, I love the role that you gave to Shateria because, oh my God, the way he abused her. We ain't seen that, not for real, maybe on a Lifetime movie, but we haven't really seen the depths of he went through to degrade her and the desperation of her to really get out of this situation. She took matters into her own hand. I'm really, really excited to see what happens out of this situation for her.
Let me make that say it's Shataria. She'll get me if I don't correct you. Shataria.
Shataria. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I should know that. Please forgive me. I'm interested to see Amelia because I need to see if she's gonna switch her insurance policies to Jake or what. Because look, Teresa, I gotta see what she does because she's wrapped up in that man, and she gotta let that go. But I gotta see how that goes. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad. I want to see what Chloe does because Chloe didn't have much to Shay during the first season now movie, and I want to see what happens to her after the blinders come off. I kind of want her to just really just lose her cool on this man, but because she seems like, could she be entitled? Would you think? Because she's kind of this. I'm planning my wedding. I'm everything's going to be perfect. Da 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 da. And you ruin my wedding, or you ruin this fantasy of mine. I just like to see what if she just blows up and becomes this new person out of this whole situation. So, and of course, I can't wait to see Layla Michelle. I'm gonna see what she, because I think she's the one that's just like that. Hell hath no fury when a woman scorned, and she gonna give it to us like that. So, yeah. I'm excited.
Go ahead. Sorry, no. What's it?
Just I'm excited. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be great. You guys are definitely gonna be here for a treat. I can't wait for you guys to I think it's like I said, it's again, I watched it again, and yeah, I'm pleasantly pleased with what everybody did, what everybody brought to the table. Last question, and we're gonna close it out. Are you team Alex and Jordan? Or are you team Maurice and Jordan?
Team Alex and Jordan. Leave Maurice alone. You done messed that up. Because I'll just say this, I'm more team Layla Michelle than I am team Jordan at the moment. Let's see what she does. Let me see what she does in the second movie or second part. But I've been more on that side because you just came in and just shook that up, Jordan. So, yeah, let's see what Alex and Jordan still have.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is it. You guys will have to tune in to next week to see if it's Alex and Jordan or if it's Maurice and Jordan. You have to see. But LJ, I have enjoyed this conversation with you. Thank you for taking a look back on this. I know it was long, but it was a lot. It was a lot of information. It's a lot of stuff. I see why you write those paragraphs now.
Well, you gave me a lot to think and to expound on. So, hey, I appreciate coming here and reliving this, and it's a privilege and honor to actually be in your presence like this and on your platform. Thank you.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank y'all so much for sticking with us these 2 hours and almost 40 minutes. We definitely appreciate it. Again, please make sure you guys watch Sisterhood 2. I don't know the platforms yet. I'm assuming it's going to be Amazon Prime, Vudu, the typical Amazon Prime, Vudu, Tubi. But you can always go to VPNTV.com and subscribe, and you can get that information. Or you can subscribe to the YouTube page, youtube.com/the Carlton T. Clay. So either way, you can find information if you subscribe to, but I would suggest you do the VPNTV.com. That's where we send out most of the VPN stuff through mail list. So again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Y'all be blessed. Until the next time. Peace.